I think it took a little bit of time. I think more towards the end of middle school, maybe going into high school, I started to really see myself playing this as a career. I think my parents, though, saw it maybe a bit earlier. My mom said I fell in love with the game when I was like 3. And I did never wanted to leave the pitch. So for me individually, I think I saw it around early years of high school. My parents saw it much earlier than I did. Yeah, I think the best advice I could give any young athlete is, I don't think for the American player we're out training and doing things individually, and I think taking that extra time, when your team isn't training as a group, going to the field by yourself or with some friends, or if you're lucky enough to have a private trainer, taking those moments and sacrificing fun with trying to get better at your craft. Yeah, I think obviously the situation that MLS is dealing with is a group, but I think for us as a team, the first thing is to always make playoffs. I think that's everybody's initial goal, and then from there you just try and take a game at a time and see where you can go. For me, being over at Scotland has really raised the level of expectations for myself individually and as a group. So I want to win every game that I play in, and I'm hoping that, when it comes time that we do make playoffs, and then from there we just really focus in and try and get as far as we can. I think always going back to the first day of signing that contract with Chicago is one of my biggest highlights, because, you finally put in all that hard work as an individual, and, a lot of people have invested time in you. My parents put a lot of time into it. Individual coaches helped me, and that signing day was really, really special for me. Another big one is always scoring your first goal. That was really special. And then I think finally making that jump overseas to Rangers was probably the biggest moment, because it's something I've wanted to do my entire career, was to push myself and challenge myself, and I really enjoyed that experience. Best game atmosphere was to play in was a Europa League game against Bayer Leverkusen, and then also I think it was St. Joseph's. Obviously, just having 50,000 fans at Ibrox was really special, and then to watch one, I wasn't in the squad that day, but we beat Leia Warsaw, and it was just absolute madness. I think we scored in like the 91st minute, and it was just chaos, because that put us through the qualification stages and then actually into the group stages of Europa League. So that was incredible. I think the biggest thing I'll miss about Scotland is just the culture. I think the fans there were incredible. They really accepted me as a player, and they were always there being positive and helping me. And they made it feel like home. That's probably what I miss most. Obviously, the fans were great, and the games were good, the players were good, the staff was amazing. So you miss a lot of things, and you build friendships over time. And I got close with a lot of the guys on the team, so that was probably what I miss most, is the team. I think the biggest thing for me was I missed a lot of my friends and family. My parents obviously weren't able to come see me play a lot of matches over in Scotland. So I think that was the biggest thing, was just I missed my family and missed my friends in the stadium. Yeah, I think I learned a lot, not just from him, even though I did learn a lot from him individually. I think the staff he put together with Michael Beale and Gary McAllister, some top level guys that tactically are very good, and how they view the game is a lot different than what I viewed it before getting there. So I learned a lot from that staff as a group, and I think tactically was the biggest thing, is understanding the game from a different perspective is what I took most from that experience. There's a couple of things. I think tactically, like I said, they viewed the game a little bit differently, and their expectations again were a lot higher, and especially at Rangers, the expectation was to win every game. And I think tactically and the expectation to win are the two biggest things I think I'll be able to take from Scotland and bring to MLS. I still go back to my MLS days, and when Jabinko was, I think MLS Player of the Year or top goal scorer, whatever. That year that he was just going off was probably the toughest player I ever had to play against when he was like in his peak form. Best player I ever played with. I was lucky enough to play with some really incredible players over in Scotland, but it's tough to not put Schweinsteiger up at the top of that list. But Jermaine Defoe is, you know, the things he can do with his back to goal is just something that you don't see often, and I would put him up there as well. My favorite player ever and why? It's funny because it's actually Steven Gerrard, and the reason why was because we went to Liverpool when I was 13 or 14 for a small tournament, and we went to Anfield, and I just kind of fell in love with the club, and then started watching. And you know, I at the time when I was younger, I was definitely a midfielder. I'm a midfielder now because I know I had that stint between right back and midfield, but I always viewed myself as a midfielder, and I just wanted to replicate Steven Gerrard's game as much as I could. The best thing about New England so far is the people have been great, but the food here is actually really, really good. Kellen showed me a couple good spots so far, and as well with the team. You know, I think I came here when I was in high school or going into college, and I knew some of the guys from then. So, you know, being around these guys is kind of reconnecting in a way. Has been nice, been very nice. Favorite Revs teammate so far? I mean, the fact that Farrell asked the question, I'm assuming he wants me to say him. But it'd be tough to not say Kellen because I actually invited him to my wedding, so I'd have to say Kel. I think Farrell's pretty funny. You know, I'm not giving him that because, you know, he asked the question beforehand and I feel bad, but you know, I think Farrell's pretty funny. No superstitions, but normally just, yeah, I don't really have any crazy preparation. I usually prepare pretty well through the week, and I'm pretty much ready when it comes game time to the match day. So no superstitions and no real preparation, just consistently doing the same thing. That as well, like, goes with the last question, is like I just don't have a superstition, so it's kind of whatever I'm feeling. Obviously I don't eat any bad food per se, but if I'm feeling pasta, I'll have pasta, but if I want chicken, I'll have chicken, kind of thing. So yeah, there is no game day meal for me. Oh, Five Guys, 100%. Five Guys, large fries, and a large Coke would be unbelievable. Oh, sounds good right now. I had haggis, but I don't think I had like technically the real thing because it was deep fried and then I put it in sauce and it tasted fine because it was fried and it was in sauce. But yes, I've tried haggis. I'm more into like chill house music, like Avicii, Geigo, something like that. I like football. I'd say football.